Hi, everybody. I'm Mel Doerr, the Aloha Shark Psychic, coming to you from snowy Chicago. We had some places got 10 inches. We got 8 by us. And, for us, well, it's a first snowstorm of this holiday season. But for us, it's a big snow, but by the next day, everything was running smooth. So, uh, we've got the snow plows out, and it was brutal cold last night, though. It was
Yeah.
22. Um, and we're supposed to get an inch or two more today. So, but we're all dug out, and that's okay.
Is it cold? Cold? How cold is it out there?
Um, I think today it's around 28, but and last night it got to 22, and there was a wind blowing, and that wind, when it's moist like that, oh, it just goes through your bones. I went to the grocery store yesterday, and I'm going to make an Italian style pot roast today, and I made a big pot of cabbage soup with kielbasa yesterday because I figured it's warming.
What
So
type of kielbasa do you get?
I get the Polish kielbasa, the pork kielbasa, and then I cut it and I brown it and I drain it off. I deglaze the skillet a little bit with some chicken broth. I made homemade chicken stock yesterday, and then maybe a little wine, whatever I got. And then I pour that into the cabbage and and use chicken stock to cook the cabbage in. And then I put the kielbasa in and season your cabbage and just let it cook until it's done. It's
That's
very,
great.
it's very good. Anyway, so we got a lot to talk about, huh?
Yes, yes.
Shall we start with Tennessee first?
Let's start with Tennessee.
All right. What do you think? It's a
I'm really
seven.
hoping the Democrat's going to win, but I'm going to ask real quick.
Um, while you're shuffling, this is just a Mel comment. Um, I think that Trump's presidency is starting to unravel.
Oh my God. And did you hear he said that Hedgehog told him he didn't order the killing of those? Yeah, he
Oh,
did.
that's such BS. That is total BS.
They're going to have people that go up there and tell the truth.
There's a bunch of them coming forward. And Trump is hanging on to Hegseth right now, but I see a big falling out between Trump and Hegseth, and I see Hegseth being charged with war crimes.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Trump is covering his own rear.
Of
And
course
he
he is.
said he would have never ordered something like that. Yeah, he would have.
Trump
And
knew about it.
Hedgehog can't throw him under the bus and say, but he told me kill everybody.
Right.
So Hedgehog will go down.
That's true. But Trump ordered it, in my opinion, my psychic opinion.
Yeah.
Um, but I think that his presidency unraveling, and I think by virtue of the fact that the Democrat, I think her last name is Bain or
Is
Bain.
the Democrat's a female in Tennessee, right?
Yes. Bain, I think is her last name.
It looks like she's the outcome.
I think, even if she doesn't win, I feel she will. It shows that many voters, regardless of party affiliation, a lot of MAGAs, a lot of Republicans, are tired and sick of Trump.
Yeah. And there's a Tennessee gentleman who was offered by Trump to come. They were going to fly him into Washington so he could talk to him. And the guy said he's a Republican. He said, doesn't he have other things to do but to reach out to a nobody like me?
Of
I
course.
know why he's reaching out. He wants me to be sure to, change the map. He goes, and that is called against the Hatch Law. And if we had a decent DOJ, I could report it. But even if I do, they're not going to do anything about it.
No. Which brings me to a point. My guys have shown me all along that Pam Bondi, Cash Patel, Pam Bondi, her law license is going to be revoked, and I see her indicted and convicted of obstruction of justice and abuse of power,
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
John Mitchell was during the Nixon years. Um, I mean, it's unraveling.
I
So
know.
I guess one question people have is about Venezuela. Um, Trump is having a meeting in the Oval Office with Rubio and Hedgehog. What do you see coming there? Do you see invasion, that he's going to invade Venezuela? My guys are telling me he's thinking about it.
Oh, he definitely is thinking about it. And I think This could be the end of him. Because if we put our men and women boots to the ground and they're killed because of this without him doing anything, he said, I don't have to do a thing of war. You know, he doesn't have to ask for Congress because they won't approve it.
He had,
So he's going to put men and women in harm's way, and that's the thing that'll take him down.
well, he said it's to stop drug trafficking, but we all know that's a crock. You know, he's always finding an external enemy to galvanize his political base. And that's what this is about. He's trying to galvanize his political base, but like you said, it's going to blow up in his
It's
face.
not working anymore. And let me tell you something else. Just this morning, I guess they stopped a ship owned by J.P. Morgan Chase, and it had 200 pounds of cocaine in it.
Wow. So, who's the drug traffickers, right?
Yeah.
Um, you know, is, we know Trump supports dictators and authoritarian regimes like Putin, but my guides are telling me that his agenda, in my psychic opinion, is to gain control. One of the other things is to try and gain control over Venezuela's oil and mineral wealth. He's got
Wow.
he's negotiating with that behind closed doors too. Um,
Now
and
tell me the guy that's in charge. Is he a dictator himself?
Maduro, he's a left-wing dictator, yes. But Trump is a
Left wing.
right, but Trump is a right-wing one. So what's the difference?
But so Maduro was voted out and he said no.
I think, but they haven't done anything. They haven't regardless of what the man is. I disagree with what he stands for, but Venezuela has not taken any aggressive action against the United States whatsoever.
Yeah.
They haven't done anything. And this is Trump's way, I think, he thinks is going to galvanize his political base by putting boots on the ground and or by declaring another enemy, like he's done with our Latino brothers and sisters and everybody else. But I still think he's behind the scenes. He wants control over the oil and the mineral wealth. I think it's a combination of things.
But he's
And
not going to get it. I
he's
see
not going
him
to get
trying to
it.
grasp it and unable to get it.
It's wag the dog. This is all a big diversion. But you
Yeah.
know what? We're not done with the Epstein files. Those are still going to come out.
But it's not necessarily what we're going to get from the United States. It's an outside entity.
Oh, correct. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot coming down. And Alina Habba, did you hear about that one? Uh, oh, that they said that she was serving unlawfully as the U.S. attorney in New Jersey because she wasn't confirmed by the state or appointed by district trial judges.
Yeah.
So I think that'll go to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court will uphold the decision of the lower court to say, no, she's unlawful.
Yeah. And now some judges will pick the person.
Well,
Yeah.
because the courts are going to send the message to Trump. You just can't willy-nilly put somebody in there because you want them to do your bidding. But I
Yeah.
guess my question is, oh, that's so cute. I love that. Where'd you get that?
I don't. Oh, J.C. Penney's yesterday.
I love that. That is so neat.
I took my future daughter-in-law to J.C. Penney. She likes to get her presents for her mom there.
Oh. So I have a question, like if any cases that Habas tried to prosecute, and if she is serving unlawfully, what happens to those cases?
They'll be reversed.
I see them being reversed. Yeah, good question. All right, next thing, I just took little notes here. Zelensky is turning to Europe. He's meeting with Macron. What do you think? I don't think he's going to cave in to,
I don't think he's going to. I see some sort of. It might be after Trump's out of office, some sort of agreement, but it's nothing like what Putin is trying to do now.
right? I don't think that Zelensky's going to want to relinquish any territory that had already belonged to Ukraine before this war. He's going
Yeah,
to hang in there. And then, the BS we're hearing that the Ukrainian people are tired of Zelensky, that's propaganda.
that's a bunch of propaganda.
It's a bunch of propaganda. So, um, I guess let's go back to Venezuela. Do you see boots on the ground? I got a funny feeling Trump's going to try that.
Let me look. I almost feel like it's shock and awe.
Yeah.
Like it could happen at night. We wake up to the news that, he did something.
I mean, he's coming unraveling from so many different fronts.
But also, I'm feeling that generals are very, very unsure about following any of his orders because just now, with what happened with Hedgehog, those men that shot those last two living people are going to be in trouble. And it was because they ordered them to do it.
Right.
So they're looking at, is it legal for him to just go in when there's no war going on? Let me look.
I'm just curious. It just goes to show what Trump will stoop to, the lowness he'll stoop to.
Well, he's really talking about getting rid of Muslims and stuff. He's always been talking trash.
Oh, did
But
you get?
there's a picture of him at the White House that he looks like he's about ready to die. He's
I
so
had that.
pale.
I, I had that dream again that I saw the headlines that he died.
Something's coming up, you guys. It looks like a lot of stress and that he may try to create unrest. Does he actually hit them? But someone else who's reasonable kind of stops this. Someone else will come in and say, no.
Well, we know it's not Rubio or Hexeth because those so far up his rear end, you know.
They come out with orange noses.
The other thing Trump is doing now, here again, and people are getting wise to this now. They should have a long time ago, but that is like he's always finding an external enemy to galvanize his political base. But that they're saying he's going to denaturalize immigrants. In other words, people who have citizenship here, who were naturalized, they went through the courts, they went through everything. Trump is going to try to revoke their citizenship.
Right.
And he says he's going to do that. I see that going to the courts and I see that going to the Supreme Court saying, no, you can't do that without just cause and you can't do it without due process. What do you think is going to happen
I
there?
think Congress is getting ready to turn on him big time.
They
He
are.
may, in fact, do this, and then Johnson's going to lose the last of his Republicans. Another one stepped down, by the way.
Oh.
So that's three. So someone else is going to step down, and you watch. He probably won't hold on to his speakership.
No, my guy
Two
told me a
persons.
long time ago that they would do some kind of petition to get rid of him.
Yeah, I think Marjorie Taylor Greene will be part of that.
That's what I feel. But then I wrote in my notes here, we're hitting on 1,000 cylinders here today. I just took little notes before we get to the questions. But so I wrote here, will Dems taking over the House before the midterms? And I wrote yes,
Okay.
because of what you've just said.
Yeah, and I said this years ago.
What do you put? So you're
Or when
picking.
he came in, somebody wrote me. I can't think of who it is. Something woman. She said, Linda, do you remember when you told us you think that the Democratic position would be stronger before the midterms? Like they would take over before the midterms. And I think I remember it because I remember when I said it out loud, I was like, but how can that be? Well, now we can see how that can be.
Right. Um, I'm telling you, I see the Dems, I see a lot more Republicans leaving, and I see the Dems getting a clear advantage.
Yeah.
Which brings up a point. Do you see Hakeem Jeffries as speaker? I used
Yeah.
to. You think
I
he'll get it?
see him at least temporarily being speaker.
Okay, so temporarily, right?
Yeah.
I'll take that. I'll take that over Mike Johnson. Oh, Trump is going to say it's a witch hunt. It's rigged. He's going to try. He's the biggest karma against Trump if he stays in office that long, and he's not going to fulfill his presidency, is that, but he'll be around long enough to know that he's a lame duck. And that he will go absolutely BS crazy about because he doesn't want to lose power.
Yeah.
And I think behind the scenes, JD
Well,
Vance,
look at that Tennessee Republican. He
right.
said, "Why is he asking for nobody like me?" Because he's hoping to change my position and allow the redistricting, and I'm not going to do it. And this violates the Hatch Act.
That's right.
This is a Republican that said
Well,
this.
I'm glad the guy came out and said it because that covers his rear end legally as well. And he
Yeah,
probably knew what Trump was up to. So,
yeah,
um, yeah, it's starting. Everybody wanted to know when, when, but I'm not patient, but we're starting to see it happen.
yeah.
Um,
So, did you have a good Thanksgiving? I forgot to ask you.
oh, we were going to go away for Thanksgiving, but we go to Ohio to see Gary's family, but his cousin got sick, some kind of viral stomach intestinal thing. So we decided to stay home because we didn't, if they're feeling ill, don't go. But also, if somebody's sick, they don't want to have to entertain.
Oh God, no.
And so, plus, you don't want to get sick. So we just decided to stay here. So for Thanksgiving Day, there's an Italian restaurant over not far from here. It's really good. They were open Thanksgiving. So my cousin Gary and I went there. We had Italian food for Thanksgiving.
I bet it was delish.
Oh my God, I had chicken Vesuvio, which is a Chicago dish. And it's like chicken made with peas and white wine sauce and garlic and wonderful. And a side of pasta. Oh, and fried calamari. Oh,
I can't eat calamari.
I'm sorry.
I can't eat calamari.
Well, but uh,
My son and his fiance and myself, I took them to eat last night at a place called Ca Bianca, an
ooh,
Italian place. It's in an old house. It's wonderful. Oh my God, to die for.
the place we
To
went,
die.
Benicia, was really good. The Italian restaurant.
Yeah, I had the fish. What is the fillet of sole? But they
Yeah.
cook it with that lemony, buttery, and it's really good. But listen, I want to tell you, if you have, maybe you've already watched this. There's a show on HBO that was directed. I can't think of his name, but it's on George Harrison. Have you heard about that show?
No.
Oh my God! So it's called Living in the Material World, and it's produced by this famous. Let's see, he was only 58 years old when he died, but it was produced by a very famous director and producer, as well as his wife Olivia Harrison. And it starts off by Eric Clapton and somebody else they were at the bedside, I guess, when he died. And they were kind of saying, "Hey dude, it's okay. We're going to be okay. It's okay for you to go." Because, he struggled with cancer for years. And then they said, the guy talking to everybody said, "If you could ask George, if he came back right now and you could ask him one thing, what would you ask him?" Well, Eric Clapton said, "Fancy some tea," something like that. And his son said, "Well, I'd say, where you been?" He said, "Actually, I had a vivid dream of my father. And I said to him, 'Where you been?' And he said, 'I've been here all along.'" And I
Wow.
said, "That wasn't a dream. That was an encounter."
That was an
And
encounter.
then at the very end, I had heard a story about this, but at the very end, I mean, Olivia said, being his wife, it wasn't that easy. I had heard he was a player, you know what I'm saying? But she's so glad that they stayed together. And so she said, she even talked about the stabbing where that crazy guy came in. And she said, George, I'd never seen him. He cried and cried because he couldn't believe how ugly people can be. But, there was a hot and cold to George. He could be really cool and then he could be very angry. But she said when he died, and I had heard this, but I got proof from her own mouth. She said, if it could be pitch black and that light would light up like the sun was shining in.
Wow.
The whole place lit up.
That's so cool.
So when he left, he was going in spirit. I've heard this before, but George Harrison, because he struggled. Part of the thing, because he studied the Indian culture, he
Oh yeah.
did the mantras, he was mantras. Acid kind of turned him on to this new beginning, and he wanted so bad. And she said, you know, you can't really touch God unless you love someone else, even more than yourself.
I like
You can't you can't really touch God. And I thought to myself, you know, for women, that's probably our children and or fathers. It's you will love a child beyond anything else, and that's God. So she said, you know, he had his ups and downs, but he always was searching. He said, I want to be in control of my death, and I want to go to directly to God. But he said he was always talking around it. And let me tell you something. I got to tell you something. I'm going to tell you guys right now. Get out of the chatter of your mind, because being in total silence and being, because meditation, he did a lot of meditation. But once you get there, once you're connected, like what happened with me, you don't go by the ego much anymore. In fact, his wife said there was these famous places wanting to give him an award. He said, tell him to give it to some other monkey. He did not have any desire for awards, or, you know, when you get there, that's when you drop the ego. That's when the magic occurs. Now, he couldn't save his life because he was really terminally, but and only 58 years old.
wow. That's a
And,
great story.
and his son is as enlightened as he is. I'm telling you right now. It was
But, you
fantastic.
know, sometimes people who are really enlightened, they have that dichotomy to their personality. They can be really enlightened, but then, and I've seen it when I was on the board of directors at Infinity Foundation, some of the most enlightened people would come, but that dichotomy to their personality, you know, when they were out of ego was incredible, but when they got back into ego, woo, they could be really nasty and demanding. So
So they were never really out of ego.
they could step out of ego maybe, or at least appear like they did, but they were never really out of it.
Yeah, because if you become a royal bitch, so to speak. But remember, we're all human too. So
We're
we
all
have that
human.
dichotomy of
Yeah,
having to deal with
that's
that.
right. So,
Because George could be really critical, you know, he'd be
right.
snarly and say things, you know. Sir, uh, who was their producer? That Sir
Oh,
George something.
I can't think of his name. I know who it is,
But
but
he said he was introduced to the Beatles by Epstein, um, not the Epstein sexual, the other one, the one
right,
Brian Epstein.
Brian Epstein.
And he said that at first he didn't quite get them, and he took them back in the studio. He said, look, I want you to hear what we're doing. And if you have any complaint, anything you don't like, just tell me. And George says, well, I'm not really liking your tie. And they said the other three Beatles were like, because they thought we're going to lose him after Epstein worked so hard to get somebody to produce us. But he said, I busted out laughing so hard. And I was basically in love with him ever since because he's so
I would have taken
honest.
I would have taken it off and give it to him, say, here is yours.
Yeah. Sorry about that interruption, but I just wanted to tell you if you get a chance, even if you weren't necessarily a Beatle fan or a George Harrison fan, his journey was really
Well, I
something.
like the message of it though, because I think it's apropos to what we're talking about today is let's step out of the anger, let's step out of the fear, let's step out of the ego. And, you know, like yesterday when it snowed, we were out cleaning off each other's cars because we don't have garages here. And everybody, regardless of whatever, we were helping each other. And I
Oh,
think when you step out of
I
that,
would have been in a lounge chair in my snowsuit with a hot cup of chocolate and telling you boys what to do.
there you go. Here, you missed someone over here. You
My
know,
mom used to do that. You missed a spot.
there's a spot right here. My dad used to do that. You missed the spot. You know, I mean, here's your spot. But, you know, I think Yeah, it's just it's apropos because I think we're so hung up in fear and anger, and we have the right to be angry, but yet how do we rewire that? And I
Yeah.
think what you're talking about is a really good example.
Well, you can do all the mantra you want to do and all the meditation, but if you don't, that ego sense of self can, and it's a kind of a curse. It's a matter of do or die. It's interesting that we have this free will and we were brought here to that's why Jesus came here, was to show us how to not be determined by that man stuff.
Sometimes I think chanting a mantra or reciting a prayer, it doesn't mean anything if you are just reciting sounds or
Yeah,
words. It doesn't mean anything. You're right, it has to be out of ego. I'm stepping out of ego and to go to that higher consciousness, if you will. All
yeah.
right. So, um, somebody here is asking that another psychic, I don't like to read on what other psychics
Me
predict.
neither.
But another psychic is saying that there's supposed to be an attack on US soil for the second week of December. I do not see that whatsoever.
I don't see it either.
So,
We've been
okay,
very lucky. We've had attacks, but not as bad as World War II
right. Or
on
911.
Pearl Harbor. The other thing that some people are saying, that basically California is going to fall into the ocean in December.
Not going to happen.
I don't see it. I'm
Well,
not
if
hearing
that
it. I usually get hearing
if that's
things.
going to happen, then I'm going to call some friends of mine who are real estate brokers in Arizona and Nevada and buy beachfront property. California ain't going anywhere
Going any. Not now.
Except Newsom running for president.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, okay, this is a really good one. Cricket wants to know. Thanks for sharing that about George Harrison. Everybody check that out.
Check that out. It's called George Harrison. It's on HBO Max. HBO Max, and it's called George Harrison Living in the Material World.
I just binge watched something on Apple TV called Invasion. I watched all three seasons in 3 days.
And
It was really good. It's about aliens invading Earth. It's really good though.
is it good though? Because I'll watch it.
Oh, it's called
If
Invasion. You
you
gotta watch.
recommend, is it
Yeah.
kind of edge of your seat?
Yeah, it's really good. Um, okay, so Cricket wants to know. Hello, Linda and Mel. Indiana governor is demanding that the Senate reconvene this week and vote to redistrict all seats to Republican. Shocker. Do you see that passing, and is there any way this state will become purple or blue? What do you think, Linda?
I think it's a very good chance of turning purple.
Well, but the thing is, the governor there is demanding that the Senate reconvene and vote to redistrict all seats to Republican. And if that goes to the courts, the court will say you cannot do that.
But also, that's what I was just telling you. A Republican senator said Trump had invited him to come to Washington. They were going to have him come in. He said, I know what he wants. And why is he seeking me out? A lowly Republican. He said he's doing the Hatch Act. He wants me to vote according to what he wants, and I'm not going to do it. I don't want redistricting.
Well, in Indiana, my feeling is the Senate in Indiana, the Indiana Senate, will vote for it. But I see it stopped in the courts. So the courts will say, no, you can't do redistricting and make it all Republican because that's unfair.
Yeah.
If you want to do that, then do what they did in California. Put it on the ballot, put it on a referendum.
And then you have your people saying yes.
That's right. Okay. Um, let's see here. We've already answered this one. Oh, well, here's another one. Will Indiana representatives stand strong against redistricting? I hear yes, they will.
I do too.
Uh, okay.
Boy, we'll know tomorrow night what the pulse is.
Well, even if she doesn't win, it's still a win. And I'll tell you why. Because you're talking about a district that won by a humongous margin. It went to Republicans by a humongous margin, and now there's only a 2% margin.
I
And it's,
know. I love it.
that's that's a win right there.
Oh, you
Okay.
guys, two other movies. Abigail, it's on, I think it'd be Prime Video, not sure, or maybe Paramount. Abigail with Dan Stevens is about a young ballerina. It was done last year and I watched it. Excellent. And the other one was The Black Door.
Ooh, I have to watch it. Yeah, I've been binge watching. Okay. Cat Ballou. I remember that movie, Cat Ballou. That was a good movie.
I don't remember the movie, but I remember the name.
It was from the 60s. It was Jane Fonda, Stubby K. It was really good. Um, Cat Ballou says, "Hello, you wonderful people. I was wondering, are we going to have a depression? I hope you're both well."
No, I don't feel a depression. How about you?
I don't feel a depression. Inflation, I went to the grocery store yesterday and I bought this little chuck roast. Things have gotten smaller and smaller. And it was like $24 for a 2.5 pound chuck roast. And it was thin. Usually I get them thick with the bone in. They were out of chickens. The store was out of rotisserie chickens. I'm like, whoa. I don't
Damn.
I don't think that was a
I
run.
get my stuff from Costco, and Costco will give you like two big chuck roasts for about 40 bucks.
I'm
Huge.
gonna, I'm gonna start doing that because I just need
It's
to
so
do
nice they deliver it to you. See, I can't lift up them
it.
Diet Cokes and stuff.
Right. I didn't know they deliver, but I'll keep that in mind. Um, okay. Um, this is a good one, but we already all know the answer. Coco Chanel says, "Hello, Mel and Linda. Will we ever find out if the people Trump had blown up in the Venezuela waters were drug people or fishermen? Thanks for all you do."
I hear fishermen.
I hear
They
fishermen.
may have got a drug person, but they blew them up so bad they can't tell.
Well, it's going to come
That's
out.
why they're not announcing. Notice they're not saying, well, we went down there and picked up the pieces and we found all kinds of drugs. They haven't found drugs.
But what's more, they knew it was a drug running boat and they hit it anyway. And that will come out.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
all going to come out.
Hedgehog, I've told you guys from the get go, he's in huge trouble. Him and Pam Bondi. And the other one's getting ready to go. Oh, Cross Eyed McGee, he's getting ready to go too.
Yay. And Steve Miller, he's going to catch his water. That Miller guy
Not until after Trump's gone, but yeah.
and JD Vance too. But JD Vance will just sit back and kind of watch everything else go.
Nobody likes JD Vance. I think he's got a 10% approval rate.
Yeah, he's not going to. Okay, if he's president, it's not going to be for long. It'll be lame duck. Here's a good question. Um, do you see George Conway winning a congressional seat? He's told Mark Elias he's thinking of running. That was Kelly Conway's husband. I watch him sometimes.
He's
Uh,
very smart.
he's very smart. I think nowadays people are confusing conservatism with fascism. There's a huge
Right, right.
difference. I see him winning. And I see him running and I see him winning a congressional seat. And he's not going to go along with the MAGAs. He won't, and he won't go along with
What's
Trump.
his name again?
George Conway. He's the
Oh,
husband.
yeah, he's talking about running. Yeah.
He's going to run and he's going to win. I see a win.
Oh, that's great.
Um, yeah, I mean, um, he's very anti-Trump, and watch him sometimes. I don't agree with his politics necessarily, but uh,
I do watch him.
yeah. Um, Somebody wants to know if they see Marjorie Taylor Greene working as the host for The View. No.
No.
All right. Let's see. Um,
And by the way, tons of Republicans are coming to the forefront as we speak and demanding answers about the boat hits. Demanding.
well, they're going to be demanding release of the Epstein files too, because Trump, there's some, notice they haven't been released. Why? Johnson is sitting on them for some reason.
But let me tell you something. I just got a hit. So I'm feeling that Trump will change his wording. I see Hedgehog stepping down. Maybe even behind closed doors telling Trump, well, actually, I lied. I did. Because there's too many witnesses saying he did.
But Trump knew about it.
Yeah, but Trump knew about it, but he can't throw Trump under the bus, and
Right.
Trump won't let him.
Right, correct.
So he'll say, fair enough, then you go ahead and step down. And they hope that'll appease everybody, but they'll still continue with having the trials. That's what I just got.
Good. You know, the thing that frosts me is that Hegseth has absolutely no military training at all.
He's a hostess.
Right. He was a talk show host. A kind of.
Oh, you
Yeah.
guys better not have beards, and you better not be fat. And by the way, he canceled any news media from being in the Pentagon. They said these people that hate him, that are in the news media, are going to run any ugly thing about him.
Right. They are. Um, okay, here's another one. Will Germany help Ukraine in a roundabout way of attacking Russia? Well, number one, Ukraine isn't attacking Russia, it's defending itself from Russia.
Yeah,
Russia attacked Ukraine, not the other way around. And I don't want to
yeah,
play semantics here, but I do see that the Ukraine is going to get more fighter planes, more weapons from the European Union and from NATO, or the European Union, I'm sorry. And good, they should. And
yeah,
they're not going to agree to Putin's concessions. They won't, or Trump's.
yeah.
So, all right.
And Trump ended up being such a disappointment, but he's so in the hands of Putin. And he tries to act like he can work against Putin. No, he can't. He promised those missiles to Ukraine. He was telling everybody on social media, and then he just disappeared.
Right. Okay. Um, let's see.
Trump is very, very ill right now.
Yeah, that's what I think too. He looks terrible.
They asked him if he could show his MRI, and he name called people again.
Well, he says
See,
he's
now,
going to, but then he says, but I don't know what it was an MRI of. So it's
he
hard.
doesn't, he says it wasn't of the brain.
He'll probably show somebody else's, right? Um, okay. Um, here we've answered this one, but someone wants to know the future of Robert Garcia, the representative from Long Beach, California. Um, there's a question. This is from Island Girl Caribbean. Would he end up being a House leader or House Speaker at some point? Um,
I don't feel yes.
I don't see that, but I do see him becoming a lot more well known and doing a lot of wonderful things in conjunction with the House Speaker. But I don't see him as Speaker, no.
I don't see him as he's not known well enough yet.
No. Mm-mm.
Hey, I just want to tell you that I threw if Trump was getting ready to kick the, you know what, the guides don't like answering that. But look at this. There's more stress with legal stuff. Justice is coming forward. He's got the 10 of swords. So more unexpected news is coming against him, and his cycle is reversed. We
Wow.
got to look at Ness. I'm going to be on with Ness next week, but we got to look at what our astrologers are saying in his chart because he's really going down. I love it.
I'm telling you, he's unraveling. I heard Glenn Kirshner say it's a single thread and it's unraveling. I like that.
Yeah, it's unraveling.
Good analogy. Okay. Everybody, please send healing energy to Tatiana Kennedy Schlossberg. It's Caroline Kennedy's younger daughter, and she has a diagnosis of acute myeloid leukemia. It's not responding to bone marrow transplant. It's not responding to chemo.
Her sister gave her the bone marrow.
Yep.
Yeah, they said she's going to die soon.
Yep. But everybody, please just send energy to that family.
There was an article about Caroline Kennedy saying she actually had to get psychological help because for all these years she suffered from PTSD,
Maybe, I'm sure
you
because of her
know,
father's
because of her
assassination.
father's
And
assassination
then
and
she
then
lost
her
her
brother
brother,
dying.
and now
Yeah,
she's going to lose a child.
that's the worst thing
It's-
ever. So
I
pray
can
for Caroline too.
pray for Caroline. I cannot imagine how horrible it would be for a parent to lose a child,
And what a lovely girl she is.
no
You know,
matter
she
how
has
old the
two,
parent is or how old the child is. It's got to
and
be
she has
sad.
two little babies. She
I
got two
know.
little children. The
Wow.
sister is gay, but that doesn't mean she couldn't have children down the road here.
Well,
I think her brother is gay.
oh, wow.
I don't know why I got that when I was watching something he did. He's real silly and he's almost acting like a child, but I almost felt like he wasn't interested in women.
Maybe he's just busy having a good time. I don't. Um,
Yeah, he's having a good time.
okay, Lady Day says, "Greetings, lovelies." I like that. Do you see Mayor-elect of New York, Zoran Mamdani?
Yes,
I like
yes,
Mamdani serving 2 terms as mayor. Yes, I
yes.
do. Yes,
And Trump just loves him, but fortunately, Mandani will get to witness Trump's demise.
Mamdani called him a fascist. He said he's a fascist.
And he said it out loud to everybody. He said, Trump said, "Yeah, I guess that's what I am."
And he, I think Mamdani is going to kind of use this as a stepping stone for higher political aspirations. So good.
Yeah, but he kept touching Mandani, and it's like, what? He likes to touch like the guy, the prince from Saudi Arabia. It's totally against the law to touch him,
I
and
know.
Trump couldn't get his hands off of him.
He's like touchy-feely. Um, we got time for just a few more, and then we're done. Hi, fabulous Linda and amazing Mel. Was Virginia, I cannot pronounce her last name, Gouffre? I can't.
Yes,
Was she killed? I'm not going to ascribe to um I'm not going to ascribe to what
she
sort of
was
looking.
really depressed, so she may have very well taken her life.
See, that's yeah, I don't want to get into conspiracy theory or anything like that, but I feel that it was,
It wouldn't be surprising if she was taken out because of the way this system works.
but I still feel she lost her life to suicide.
Don't use the word.
Oh,
You're
what?
not supposed to use that word on YouTube.
Oh, I didn't know that. Sorry.
I got demonetized using it.
Oh,
When I was talking about that young girl that died up in Wyoming or something, and then I said to everybody that he would be found dead, bullet to the head, which is what happened. But they demonetized me and sent
wow.
me all these links to that prevention, and I'm like, wait a second, I'm not. But they flagged that word, so I use Harry Carey.
Um, albeit it looks suspicious.
Yeah.
All right. Um, let's see. Nancy Kingfisher says, "What can be done to help Ukraine? Zelensky looks exhausted. He is tired, but he's not going to
And
go.
listen, he'd love to step down. He'd love a peace deal and just hand the keys over.
Yeah, but he's not going to
No, because he promised his people that he would
fight
save
till
them, and
the
he
end,
will.
and he's not going to let Putin put a puppet in place or give the minerals and the resources to Putin or to Trump. It's not going to
Yeah.
happen."
No.
Okay, this will be our last one. Patricia Smith, I like this one. This is a really good question. Will there ever be safeguards put in place and followed that will keep America safe from another presidency like this one?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Constitutionally, too. I see constitutionally that that they changed the Constitution to make sure that if you're running for president, certain factors, like you have to pass a competency test, you have to not have been a criminal, stuff like that.
I guess in closing, what advice could we give to people who have family members who are strong followers of Trump and who, are in these ultra right-wing Christian nationalist, so-called Christian nationalist evangelical mega churches? What advice can we give to family members of those people? Because, I've seen it a million times. There's somebody here who is, a Democrat or and not pro-Trump at all, but yet the other family are pro-Trump and these
There's not
so-called
that many as passionate as you would think.
um my
There's some families that are reuniting because they were like, I didn't vote for this.
my advice is hold your truth. Just you don't have to change them, their eyes will open. Some won't, but just be who you are and hold your own truth.
When you watch his demise, it won't be something that people are upset. It'll be something that are people like, yeah, good.
And that's going to be coming a lot sooner than later, I
You
think.
know, the other thing he did was he had the nerve to tell people, oh, you're going to get a $2,000 check. There's no check coming in the mail. I
No.
told you guys way back when he announced it. We're in bad form right now financially, and he has no way of doing that, but he just acts like he does.
You know, look at what we're paying for groceries. I went to the grocery store yesterday. I had two and a half bags of groceries. It was almost $200, and I didn't
Yeah.
buy that much. It's crazy. So,
Well, let me tell you something. And he's lying $2 for gas and all this bull pucky. It's just really sad. He just keeps lying and telling people $2 for gas. Hell no. Some woman was interviewing somebody. She said, where is it $2? Well, it's $2 somewhere. Trust me.
yeah, per a liter, which is like a quart.
Yeah.
Um, well, we all know that, when do you know that he's lying? He opens his mouth.
He's
And so now I understand that they're trying to uh, do away with SNAP. Um, I read that the Agriculture Secretary, Brooke Rollins, is dismantling SNAP. And grab this one. She said because the agency uncovered massive fraud,
oh,
but
that's so
but she,
crappy.
right, she hasn't proven it at all. My feeling is that'll go to the courts, and the courts will stop her dismantling of SNAP because
Because
that.
they won't be able to come. It's just like that judge said when Giuliani came in and it was stolen the 2020, Your Honor. And he liked Trump. And he said, fair enough, give me the proof. So I
Where's
have something to work with. You got to give me documented proof.
that's my
And Giuliani said, oh, Your Honor, it's in the car. Like, yeah, right.
yeah, right,
And like it's in the mail. And he said, I'll come back with it, I promise. He never came back with it.
right. So it's like, where's the proof? She has no proof.
Yeah,
It's just another line of BS from the regime.
exactly.
So everybody, when you hear about cuts and SNAP, don't get nervous. Um, I see it going to court, and that money has already been appropriated. And so the court's going to say you have to use it what Congress approved it to be used for. So,
Yeah. So let me ask you something. When we have to go back to the drawing board for a budget in January, do you see a shutdown again?
I do.
Okay.
If it is, though, I think a lot of Republicans have learned the lesson that they can't let it be long and drawn out because, they're losing votes, they're losing seats, they're losing everything. And that
Yeah.
might just be the impetus to get rid of
This
John.
Tennessee, if we win in Tennessee, this is really going to help the cause.
Well, I do see us winning in a couple of red states. That I do see.
Good.
And I,
Not Alabama, though. Alabama
no,
just
Alabama is not.
red.
But I
That,
do,
it's the interbreeding.
but I do think that the Dems will take over the House before the midterms. That just hit me today. I could be wrong.
I told you that I said this a while ago.
You did, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So there we go, you guys.
all right, everybody, stay safe. Glad everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. If you're going to store the Thanksgiving turkey in the refrigerator, make sure you take it off the bone because it can get food poisoning.
I didn't know that.
Yep, you always debone it.
Oh, well, my turkey that I cooked, I stripped it as soon as it was warm enough to touch. I mean, cool enough to touch. And then I throw the bone out.
Well, the other thing you can do is save the carcass, like the
Uh-huh.
bones, and then you can make turkey stock out of it, which is
I don't make shit. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. I just like to cook, so all
All
right.
right, sweetie.
All right.
You take care.
Stay
Bye.
well. Bye bye.